It's the most wonderful time of the year. Of course, I mean Christmas, but in addition to that, I mean it's time for the Rebels to give you our top 5 reports of the year before the year ends, which means out of a slew of reports where we're trying to warn you about what's happening or what's to come, or we're simply being your voice, letting the public know things that you don't want to be treated like us for saying them. I tend to choose reports that make me happy, and I hope they'll make you happy too. Woo! Drea Humphrey here with Rebel News. I'm going to dive right into it in chronological order, beginning in February. Take us back there when none other than Dr. Charles Hoff was set free. Those of you who don't know the name Dr. Charles Hoff don't know a Canadian hero. That's right. He's one of the first brave doctors, medical professionals to come forward during COVID tyranny and say something isn't quite right, despite the consequences he ended up facing for that. That's right. In Lytton, BC, or what was Lytton, BC, I feel like saying at this point due to the fires, he was working in the emergency room and a family doctor. And when the Moderna, the first shot is the best shot, came out, he noticed almost immediately a disproportionate amount of, I don't even know, am I allowed to say it, depending on what platform you're watching, injuries from you know what. Those injuries were affecting predominantly First Nation individuals. I thought the government cared about that. No, I actually don't think they care about First Nations, but this proves it, because when he went forward, even told Dr. Bonnie Henry's office specifically, had a meeting and said, you know what, I've given vaccines many times and I've already got 9 patients with mostly neurological rare symptoms happening after they're taking this. What's going on here? He thought he was going to get answers. Instead, he was silenced and intimidated by his professional body, the College of Physicians and Surgeons. They went after his license. He was kicked out of the emergency room, still allowed to practice as a family doctor. And for years, he had to defend himself on this pending hearing that was going to happen. And he never chose to silence himself, as many professionals would do. Well, finally, in 2025, with the help of his great lawyer, Lee Turner, with Doak Sheriff Lawyers, they built a case that was so good, so solid, had really good experts. The amount of evidence that was going to come out on that panel would have to review and everybody paying attention to the case would have to see was so impressive, to the point that when the college said, we give up, we call uncle, and just, made up some bogus excuse for dropping the charges against them, the bogus charges.
And I was really looking forward to hearing my expert witnesses speak truth to the college. And I was really looking forward to seeing the evidence presented and the falsehood exposed. And so it is wonderful that this has happened. It is wonderful that the college has effectively sort of backed off. I mean, effectively, they've sort of admitted that what they said what they accused me of, they've basically, it's no longer an accusation. Somehow the truth changed in their eyes.
Have you seen the coverage of when the rebels got into the CBC's lair against against their wishes to keep control of the narrative with the election? And do you remember who Jagmeet Singh is? I know some of you have pushed him out of your memory, but he was the leader of the NDP up until this year. Well, I asked him a very good question, a long overdue question. I tried to ask him. Here's how he treated me when I first started.
Hello, Mr. Singh. Drea Humphrey with Rebel News. Your party takes great pride in standing against hate such as white supremacy, Islamophobia, and online.
Sorry, I didn't get your outlet.
Drea Humphrey with Rebel News.
Okay.
Your party.
You know where I'm going to go with this, all right?
Can I speak?
Yeah, you can. I'm just going to say you know where I'm going to go with it, though.
Yeah, that didn't sit well with a lot of people, especially when I followed it up with a valid question about, hey, if you're the party that stands against hate, What is with your silence about the slew of church burnings we've seen and vandalizations across the country since false claims of unmarked graves spread across the country, claims that have remained unproven? Take a listen.
These claims have been disproven by bands that excavated and remain unproven by those that have not. Will you condemn the rise in acts of hate against Christians today and explain what your party will do moving forward to keep Christians safe from hate in Canada?
Again, thank you, but I'm not going to respond to an organization that promotes misinformation and disinformation like Rebel News. So no, I'm not going to respond to your question.
It's a fair question. Many people saw it. In fact, what I love about the question is I know that many people watching that on the CBC broadcast had never heard that no bodies had been found yet. And maybe they didn't even know that churches were still, in fact, being attacked. Yeah, that didn't sit well. It didn't sit well with his own people. I didn't know it at the time. I already knew he was a jerk. But online went mad. Some pointed out, hey, how would it be if a conservative had treated a woman of color such a way? Not that a woman of color is any more deserving of respect than one who isn't. Others said, hey, Jagmeet Singh, I thought you were a feminist. Even memes went around, and apparently it went viral on TikTok, his own stomping grounds. It wasn't a good look just before the voting polls. And I'm not saying I got Jagmeet Singh out. I'm just saying I might have helped with that fair question. Number 3, reporting on a miracle. In May, I reported on multiple miracles at the Universal Ostrich Farm, and it has been one of my greatest pleasures to be able to have brought all of that coverage to you. The miracles, of course, and the absolute tyranny we saw unfold on November 6th and 7th when they slaughtered that healthy herd and those farmers' livelihoods for no valid reason. Reporting on miracles is not something I get to do often. Here is my favorite one, I think, on the farm, if you followed all of our coverage. And this was, something that we don't get to see anymore, where you have people in positions of power. In this case, it was of the regional district for Central Kootenays. They unanimously came together and voted to block the plans of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. They did the right thing when the state was not. And they said, no, you cannot go forward with your plans to dump the carcasses of the healthy ostriches you plan to kill at our landfill unless you test them first. And this was the real-time reaction of the farmers as Katie was there at the board, pleading for the farm's case. And the rest of the family, the rest of the farmers are watching it unfold in real time, watching what that board did. And I was there to bring you that story.
They're crying.
They're crying.
Oh my god. They did the right thing. Dave, oh my god, there's our business partner. Did you hear?
No.
RDCK called them back into the room. It's all good. It's all good. They won't accept any carcasses. They said they full motion. They're backing us, and they have to be tested tomorrow. They're telling CFIA if you will, any birds, any animal to hit their landfill has to be tested for H5N1. If it isn't positive, they're not taking it. None of the ostrich carcasses. They called him back. Oh my god. Hey.
Moving forward, eh? Moving forward.
Oh my god. This is it. We're doing it.
Oh,
This is the beginning of policy change. And this is what it looks like.
they did it. You did it.
Oh my god.
Thank you, RDCK.
The next report is another honor on a very dark time, something that hit me and many way harder than we expected to be hit. And that was the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And the reason why this makes one of my favorite reports is because I was covering a vigil for Charlie Kirk, but I was also asked to speak at that vigil. What an honor. A very humbling honor. And here's some of what I had to say.
On the same day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, in the same state of Utah, there was an earthquake. Did you guys know that? It was a 4.1 earthquake, which normally isn't a big deal. And it didn't hurt people. But the reason why it is a big deal, why geologists are going, what the heck happened here, is because it had a reverse effect to what earthquakes normally do. Instead of separating the rocks, it brought the rocks together, you guys.
That was actually healing for me as a Christian conservative who speaks the truth. Of course, not as good as Charlie Kirk does. But you have to ask yourself, how much of that risk are you? I mean, sometimes people are violent with me. God, and thank God, not like that. But you have to make a choice to keep moving forward no matter what may come. So standing and giving a talk at a Charlie Kirk vigil actually was quite frightening. But I had to do it anyways. But actually what my favorite part of all that was is something you guys didn't even get to see because it happened off camera. There were protesters there, a small group of protesters. Here's some of what they had to say.
You understand humanity.
Yes.
You understand that
we are not
hurting.
celebrating his death
you
at all.
understand that people
We
are
are not
hurting.
celebrating his
Do you
death at all.
understand that people are hurting right now?
We are not.
One of you guys must understand what I'm saying. One of you guys know you're better than that.
You're very, would you like to step a few steps back? So you
I'm
guys
happy you're in a public park
Yeah, as
and
well,
you are
but we have both.
that we are fascists.
We
while
have talked to the RCMP and we are both
You have
equally
a right to
expressing.
be here, but
Yes,
having
we
a
do.
right doesn't make what you're doing right.
Of
Do
course.
you understand?
Yeah, would you agree that you are doing the same thing? Supporting
I
such a
am
very bigoted
grieving.
person?
I am
Of course.
grieving.
Grieving a person that you do not know personally? Please. If you guys would like to
I
step
am
a few
grieving the loss.
would you like take a few steps back?
We saw his head be blown up in
Yes.
front of his wife, his
We are not
children.
we are not celebrating his death at all.
And after talking to them, they actually got quiet. They actually let the praise music, how fascist of these people to be praising God, continue. They let the talks go on and they were quiet. And then just as they were leaving, they sort of marched. And what happened was I actually beelined back to them because I wanted to thank them for not interrupting the vigil anymore. Just human to human. And they wouldn't talk to me. So I said, let's talk off camera. So I took the camera off and, that one overbearing individual was trying to stop the two girls from talking to me. And one girl just talked to me anyways. And she said to me, "You're Black. Why do you like Charlie Kirk?" And I said, "Because he would never start a sentence with calling me Black. He sees me as a person, as should you." And I asked her for a hug. And despite her little militant controller there, she gave me a hug. And that was very healing and just reinforces the importance, the role that Charlie Kirk was fulfilling, talking to the minds of the young people who are shaping our future and challenging them on their own beliefs. And so very, very special report to me. Last but certainly not least, of course, you probably knew you were going to hear about the ostriches again because I'm getting my revenge. We're doing a documentary about what took place on the ostrich farm and about what the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has been getting away with doing to farms for decades. And so here is a little bit about why. You see, it's true. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency, the bureaucrats behind me, they are very powerful. But together, so are we. And that's why in this documentary, we're going to show them that their overreach meant they overplayed their hands. And we're going to tell the world not what they think they got away with in Edgewood, but what they have been getting away with for decades. Hell hath no fury like a journalist scorned. I was pissed, I was broken, and now I am ready to show the public what the CFIA doesn't want me to. Thank you for being a supporter, watcher, viewer, sharer, and donor of Rebel News for 2025, and we hope you'll keep us alive for 2026. If you want to be a part of making this important documentary that will change the way people view the so-called animal health excuse we're being given for the control that the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has over our agriculture, please consider donating what you can at ostrichfarmdocumentary.com. This is a massive project that's taking us a lot of time and effort and going to cost us a lot of money. So please donate what you can. I'll see you next year.